Like, I'm looking like dude acting real brand new. Like, oh, I could do this. You know, I've known him since high school. Now my mind is racing like, well, maybe he was the one. We were separated. And what they say, whatever you let go and come back, then you know, like, girl, no, leave dude alone. Hey yo, it's me P and I'm back with another video. If you're new here, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the fam. Thanks for joining. If you're not, thanks for coming back. I appreciate all of y'all. So if you can tell by the title, this is part 2. I just dropped part 1 of my marriage in a prison at 23, divorcing at 31. A little bit about me. My name is Precious. I'm 31. I have 3 daughters, and I am in a relationship currently. This content, this series is about my previous relationship that ended 6 years ago. That is my oldest daughter's biological dad. I just want to share this because I know a lot of people that's my age go through this. Marriage, divorce, and parenting is like coming up one of the biggest things we think about as females. I'm sure outside of being successful and having a career, a lot of females think about, being a parent and getting married and having this life, this happy, happily ever after ending, and it doesn't always go that way, and it could set you back, especially if you deal with a narcissist like I did. I do want to say I'm not bashing him. I'm not bitter. I'm just sharing my experience for anyone who's been there or there currently, and could potentially be dealing with a person. And I just want to say to choose you, put yourself first. So in this particular video, this is part 2. I'm going to talk about how we met. So I don't know how many parts this is going to be. I'm not going to try. I don't want to stretch it out too long because I do have other content that I have to post that's already created. But I do want to give y'all like the full details. And this has been on my mind for a long time to do. So I want to give as much detail as possible so it can all make sense. And I don't want to give too much detail to where it's just embarrassing, because some stuff is truly embarrassing, yo. And I might just go ahead and do it as I go through the conversation. So let's get started with the video. Okay, y'all, so it all starts in 2005. I was in high school. I had just moved to Napoleonville, Louisiana from New Orleans, Louisiana due to Hurricane Katrina. I was displaced along with a bunch of my family members. We all moved to Napoleonville. I will tell that story soon. I tried to tell it before and I just couldn't finish it. I couldn't make it through the full Hurricane Katrina story. It's still hard to talk about. I didn't go through as much as some people did, but even knowing what other people went through, it hurts me. It really does. It really does still hurt. It's very unfortunate, but a lot of good came out of it. So it's okay, but we'll get to that in another story time. So I made it to Napoleonville and I started high school maybe a week or two after. And y'all can imagine the trauma just leaving here and coming here, and it's a blessing, and it's like, well, what's going on type of thing. And I was looking for people that I could connect to, people that's from New Orleans, and luckily I found it was about maybe 10-15 of us who went to school at this particular school, which is Assumption High School in Napoleonville. It was about 10 or 15 of us, and we all kind of came together and hung out for lunchtime. And this is how I met what I could call him. I don't want to say his name. A lot of people probably know his name, but I know a lot of people don't, of course, because y'all all over the world. I'm going to call him So I'm gonna call him dude. Okay, I feel like that's easy for me to just keep up with dude. So I saw dude walking around. So I was walking, I think I was walking by myself, walking back to class one day, and I saw dude walking by himself, and I spotted his school bag first and the way he walked. He had this walk like Boys from New Orleans. Now, one thing about us, we like our people, and the Boys from New Orleans have this energy on them. They have this different swagger about them, and they sweet talk you, they make you laugh. Like, that's one thing I knew about Boys from New Orleans. Even though I was only 14 years old, y'all, I still had an attraction to my people. Okay, so when I saw his school bag, he had like something with a ward on it. Like me. I'm from the ninth ward. My grandma, my grandpa, my mom, and my daddy. I didn't fully grow up in the ninth ward, but I'm from the ninth ward. I was always in the ninth ward. I love the ninth ward, everything about it. I hate where it's going, and but it's always been like that. It is what it is. That's still home. My family house is down there. So I saw, like, it said, I think it had like a tent ward on there, and he said it had something else about like Bucktown or something. So I'm like, is he from New Orleans too? So that's what attracted me to him immediately. Just the fact that I thought he was from New Orleans, right? So I'm checking him out or whatever. I'm watching him walking around. I think he had like 2 goals. And yeah, he had 2 goals at the time. And he had some glasses. And I'm like, okay, I like his little swag. Like regular vision glasses, right? So he caught my attention. He caught on, I don't know, he saw me too. And eventually I remember he came up to me, and y'all, some stuff I'm actually just thinking about. Like, I pre-thought this part to see like how I want to start it off, but I didn't think too deep because I do want it to be organic conversation. He came up to me and was just like very aggressive, but I don't know what it is about us 90s babies. I don't know. Even the 80s, I think aggressiveness is attractive to us. That was attractive to us at that time. So he was very aggressive and was like, oh, that's when I also found out he wasn't from New Orleans because his accent. Because he had the country slang accent, which is, I'm not against it. That was my first time hearing that type of accent. Especially his compared to some of the other guys. They were from different areas, so they have different variations of this accent, which is weird because they all live within 10 minutes of each other, but all still different. Okay, so and if you know what I'm talking about, Napoleonville, Louisiana, Belrose, Thibodeau, Homer, different guys, different areas, 30-minute span away from each other. That's weird, but intriguing, especially being from New Orleans, being new there. So I'm I'm intrigued at that point, and he's being aggressive. He was like, hey girl," but he said girl. He was like, "Hey, give me your phone number." And I was like, who? Trying to have a little attitude, knowing I already have it set in my mind that I wanted you to ask for my phone number. So however that went, he got my phone number, and we was texting. Were we texting people? We weren't really texting at that time. I think we did text, but we talk. And we would sit on the phone. Of course, that was the thing. We sit on the phone for hours, fall asleep on the phone eventually. And, things went from there. So not to drag that part out, that's just a red flag. That was a red flag. And me, I had a couple people that I would conversate with. I had a guy from New Orleans who I was conversating with, who I had just met. And I didn't want to just talk to a lot of people from where at this particular school because I don't know who knows who. I had already caught on to a lot of people were related. I caught on to that, and that's another thing. Again, they 30 minutes away from each other. They live in the same areas. A lot of these people are friends and cousins and been going to school with each other, since day one. It's not a big town. Y'all, the humidity is curling my hair. Excuse my hair. But it's foggy outside. So yeah, I didn't want to just have all of these different guys. I didn't want, once I picked, I felt like I'm gonna just stick with that one person, and that's what it was. So we ended up being intimate maybe a year later, probably about a year later. But again, it was still like, that's when it got even more aggressive. It got even more aggressive after we got intimate. He would like want me to cut school, and we would talk about it, and if I didn't want to, it would be like he would get angry, and I didn't really want him to be angry, so I would cut school. And then when we would meet up and stuff like that, it just would be aggressive. It was just a lot of aggression, so I just started wanting to do whatever he wanted to do, type of thing. Like, if I had to answer the phone, not intimately, but like if I had to answer the phone, I'm gonna answer the phone. If it was one time here and there to stay home from school, I stay home. If we had to argue, I will argue. And all of this is 14, 15. Now, mind you, I'm still talking to somebody else, but he still had this hold on me. So that was ninth grade year. I should have said that in the beginning. But yeah, I was in ninth grade. Actually, it was 10th grade year when we became intimate. So 11th grade year, we kind of started splitting apart because of his ways and the things he did, but we would still talk. And then I was setting up to go to college, and he went to jail. Okay, so I went to college, and he would still call sometimes, and the other guy who I was talking to, I was still talking to him. While I was in New Orleans in college, I went to Southern University at New Orleans in 2010. As soon as I graduated high school in 2010, I went straight to college that summer because I was expelled from school and had to redo some classes and stuff for something. And that's a whole nother topic that I probably never talk about because I got kids and they don't even know my business. No, but anyways, so yeah, he would call. I would either wouldn't answer, I would answer, ask him how you doing, or that's good, and we'll talk later. So 2010, 2011, I stopped living on campus. I got a car, and I was living with the guy. I moved him in. Things didn't go right, and I moved back home in 2012. So 2012, I moved back home maybe like November-ish. December, one random December night, y'all. This is where it really gets started. I am 20 or 21 at the time, December 2012. Yeah, I had to be like 21. And he came and he knocked on the door, and I was in shock. I was a little bit afraid, y'all, because I had the aggression was aggressive. Dude was very, very aggressive. Even in, prison, when he would call, it was like, he would say things, so I didn't know what to expect from his demeanor. But one thing about a narcissist is they're not going to give you what you expect. They're not going to give you that aggression that you're looking for. If they're angry with you, they're going to be extra nice to you. They're going to do whatever they have to do to get you on their side. So that's one thing I had no clue about. I'm just looking like, oh, wow, he's a new dude. Like, I'm looking like, dude, acting real brand new. Like, oh, I could do this. I've known him since high school. Now my mind is racing like, well, maybe he was the one. We were separated. And what they say, whatever you let go and come back, then Like, girl, no, leave dude alone. My mama was like, I'm about to answer the door. I never forget, she was ready to go out there because I had told her so much about him in the past that she was like, oh no, I'm gonna answer. I'm like, my no, and that's me. I'm always trying to step in front of my mama, and I should have just let her be my parent, and laughed it off. But it was too. Y'all comment down below if y'all think him knocking on the door randomly was so ironic that it could cause a 21-year-old heart to flutter. Okay. Also, I had just told her, and this is something that plays in my used to before I was completely healed. This will play in my head over and over. I told my mama right before this, when I was moving out there and we would be riding together, I told her, "Ma, I have a choice to make. I could either, when I graduate college, I could move to Atlanta and seek my career in either law. I was going to do management law, artist management law. I wanted to be like a manager. And I was going to start off with club promotions because I was doing events and promoting events at school. I'm like, I could either do that, but if I do that, y'all, this is so crazy. At 21, I'm like, well, if I do that, I'm not going to have time to raise a family, and I really want to have kids while I'm young. I don't want to be 30, 40 having kids. I want to have my kids and then start my career, and I could grow with them. This is what I'm saying, y'all, because I'm in school learning about a 5-year plan, and I'm thinking, well, 5 years I could go and have my kids, and by the time 5-6 years pass, I could start my career over, or I could do it at the same time, put her in daycare. This is what I'm telling my mama. Or I could just do this. So, y'all, when he knocked on the door that night, all of that was going through my head. I'm like, maybe this is meant to be, right? So we hang out, we go chill, whatever chilling may be for us at that time. And it got serious. It got real serious real fast. And then we got pregnant. We talked about it. Like, I talked about his lifestyle because y'all know he went to jail. So I talked about his lifestyle and what I wouldn't want to see for me and my family. But I don't know, y'all. It's just a person could tell you anything, and they can make you feel comfortable for the moment, and then they still could do what they want to do, especially when it's a narcissist you're dealing with. They just tell you whatever you want to hear, give you whatever you need to be happy in that moment. And even though I was still in college and I was going back to the environment that could give me the right side of things, and my friends were even like, you going home to do what with who? Because I used to be so busy in school and doing so much stuff. And then everybody was just like, you staying down here to do such and such? And I'm like, no, I'm going to go by my boyfriend. They like, boyfriend? Nobody never knew me to talk to nobody. I was so driven. Especially when I got pregnant, yo. The reactions was crazy. Everybody was like, you have sex? It was so crazy, yo. So, yeah, he told me everything I needed to hear, and we talked about raising, having a child. I got off birth control, and we got pregnant, and by February, we knew that we were having a baby. And I'm going to get into that part in the next part. So that will be part 3, pregnancy, him going to jail, and how that was, and yeah, y'all, because that's a whole lot. One of my lashes just fell. Y'all see that? A lash just hit my face. But yeah, because that's a whole nother part. I don't want to make it too long. I feel like this is just enough. So thank y'all for watching this video. I hope y'all got something from it. Comment down anything you want to comment below. I will reply. And y'all feel free to look at any of my old videos, my playlist, and I'm going to see y'all in the next one.